Okay, open that up. So it's full screen. Nope, yep, hit pause. Top right corner, top right corner. Now go.
Call this meeting to order. We'll start with the select board, get everyone's name.
Scott Morley, Select Board.
Harry Keeman, Select Board.
Dan Webster, Select Board.
Ed Form, town administrator.
Matt Maxwell.
David Barlow, town treasurer.
Angel Samuel, Constable.
Daniel Rondo, cemetery merchant.
Matt Wilson, Rifle.
Chris Roy, resident and news correspondent.
Kathleen Ahern, Edmund Douglas Price Endowment Fund Facilitator.
Okay, and we have Deb Tangway, town clerk of Coventry with us. And start first, we'll go with changes or additions to the agenda. And Melanie Rodzinski's not with us, so we'll cross that off of this.
For that or other business, if you guys have anything, any updates on the speed ordinance?
No.
No updates?
No.
No, okay.
Dave does.
And under other business, we need to have just a quick motion about the bank account signers as that's usually.
Yes. Mm,
Okay,
right here.
allow for public comment.
Yeah, Chris Roy, who are you, sir? And did you say you're the new town administrator?
Yes, my name's Ed Formier and I'm taking over for Matt. He's working with me right now. I'm gonna be the new full-time town administrator.
You are or you will be?
I am now, and Matt's still here working with me.
When was that approved?
That was, you know, the exact date, was it? Last
August 27th.
August 27th.
Okay, was that a war meeting?
Yes, it was, Chris.
Okay.
Welcome.
Thank you. Okay, next up, we're gonna have the EDP update. And that's gonna be with Kathleen Ahern.
Hello.
Thank you for giving me 10 minutes of your time. I'd like to do the 4 things. 1, introduce myself. Second, to give you a history of the EDP or Edmunds Douglas Price Endowment Fund. 3, to give you current fiscal 2024, 2025, what was happening. And then 4, if you have any questions. So by way of introduction, my name is Kathleen Ahern, and I began volunteering at CBS because the 2015-2016 school budget and then subsequent years did not allow for a town librarian, which for an elementary school was completely unacceptable to me. So I started going to school board meetings and haranguing anybody who would listen. So we agreed that if I applied for a grant, a CLIF grant, a Children's Literacy Foundation, if the school would apply with me, if we could do that together, that if we got it, then I would help coordinate it and administrate it, because there was no one to do that when you don't have a librarian. So I worked with the school for a few years doing that. And then on the select board at the time was Mike Marcotte. And this space was a library, and it was needing to change from the cattery to this renovated space. So I worked with Mike on that. And then in 2017, I think I started on the school board.
That was the year, yeah.
Yeah, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think it was 2017, because when you
It's ancient history, but.
Well,
But I tell you all that by way of how it led to the EDP fund. So the library, without funding, without a librarian, was about as uninspiring as you could imagine. And so when I found out that there were funds available through a donation, a charitable donation made in 1999, I was like, well, great. we have a lot of work to do here. So I started looking, and what you will, I think, find in your files, Ed, because I'm sure Matt kept them pristinely, is a little bit of the history on the fund. And I'd like to just educate you on this, because I think what happened is in December of 1999, a lawyer in Seattle wrote to the town's lawyer, Bill Davies, and said he would like to make a donation of 300 shares of Microsoft stock. And he had a few strings attached to that. And anyway, that's how it started. So all I can do is speculate based on what I could find in the file. And then in 2020, when the then principal said, how do we access this? Because I had worked with the school board and the town, and directly through Mike Marcotte, I agreed to be the facilitator. So with that, part of the agreement was that I would try to educate the school, because as you can imagine, the personnel changes. And then the same thing with the town. So I would just like to read you kind of the history directly as I found it, and answer any questions if you have them. But the first letter was in December of 1999 to Bill Davies, saying that we would like to transfer 300 shares of Microsoft stock to the town, because at the time, the way schools were funded, which is different than today, which apparently will be different than next year. So it was the only way they had to give the school this donation. And they asked very specifically, we intend that it should be expended for the general purpose of promoting reading and creativity among students. With that goal, we would like to provide the school library with books, audio, and visual materials. And specifically, to Phyllis Mosier, who at the time was a part-time counselor, that we asked that some special attention be given to materials relating to counseling and guidance, including parenting challenges and skills. They specifically asked that the Microsoft stock be put into no-load mutual funds, and he gave the example of a Vanguard indexed fund. And that each year we'd like to be updated. So there's John Price, his wife Susan, and their two sons, still on the West Coast. I can't remember, but Mr. Price has since passed away, but Mrs. Price and her children are there. Then he gave a little bit of history about his connection to Coventry, explaining why, just out of the blue, we got all this money. He said that there's a small obelisk in the cemetery, and that is of his great grandparents, Mr. and Mrs. Rufus Edmonds, and that their child Mabel married a Mr. or a Dr. Douglas, who practiced in Coventry in the late 1890s until he returned from service during World War I. So he feels like he has deep roots in Coventry, and that their only child, Agnes Douglas, was his mother, and she left Coventry as a young girl. And so accordingly, what they asked is that the fund be known as the Edmonds Douglas Price Endowment Fund. So that was the first piece of paper. There are some things in the file that go into a little bit more about what they would like. Again, the very light strings that were attached to this money. Basically, they were asking for a yearly update, that things be labeled with an EDP sticker, that it be part of the school's inventory assets so they could keep up with them, and that they could be, whatever was bought could be located anywhere in the school, but it needed to be inventoried as part of the school's library system. So the town agreed. It's an agreement between an M. Marcotte, somebody Gallup, somebody Maxwell, and Peggy, the town administrator.
Ratcliffe.
Ratcliffe, yes, I can.
Town clerk.
Yeah, I can read some of it. So anyway, they hoped that by only using a small percentage of the actual money, that it could go on in perpetuity. That we just use, again, kind of following basic endowments guidelines for accessing a small amount of money each year so that it would last. So that's all I found from 1999. And then in 2013, he came to visit Coventry, and he reached out to then Principal Matthew Bauman. He was still in contact with Mr. Davies, and just, you know, still wanted to let people of Coventry know that he and his family had a great love of Coventry, since that's where they came from. The next thing in the file is from October of 2020. It was then Principal Todd Roline reaching out to Scott Breyer, David Gallup, and Mark Huff, then select board members, saying, hey, we need to set up a procedure for accessing these funds. And this is where I hope you'll find a file, if not of the ancient history, at least something labeled EDP current history, because it's the agreement. And they worked with the supervisory union, and that the school, any of the teachers, after they had expended their budgeted monies, if they still had need, that they could purchase things through EDP funds. So the first step was to identify what they needed, make sure that it meets the criteria of what was given as an outline, that the school would order it and pay for it. And at the end of the fiscal year, the supervisory union would then come to the town and ask for reimbursement. So that's what's been happening since 2020. It took, you know, some coordinating, but eventually it happens. And every year I get a little bit of correspondence from a new teacher, or this past year it was from special education. Even though the special ed budget is through the supervisory union, they don't have a specific line item on the yearly CDS budget. So they don't have anything. Because again, there's no budget for it. So they have been availing themselves of this money, which is huge because there are students, I mean, our students. So every year in the file, there's updates from the town treasurer, letting the prices know kind of what the value of the fund is, what was bought, just, you know, kind of meeting their request to stay updated. And so that's what I hope to continue to maintain. And then in my file, there's the correspondence between myself and any of the teachers who want to say, hey, I need this with this, could I use EDP money for that? And so we make sure that before it's actually purchased, that it in fact meets the criteria of what was intended by the prices. What I have found over the years is once we got going, we kind of averaged about 5,000 a year. During the construction of the school, you know, they couldn't focus on that. There was no place to put anything. I don't know if you went to the school during the renovation and additions, but it was kind of chaos. And then in years prior to that, we were actually challenged in that we didn't have a librarian for very long. Between 2015 and 2020, we went through either no librarians or very part-time librarians, and some only lasted a few months. And so it's the kind of thing that it takes a librarian about a year to get a handle on what's in the school, what's needed in the school, how their budget works. And anyway, we've been very blessed that since 2020, Crystal Stebbins has been the librarian, and she has helped access. She knows what the needs are. And then we finally had, for a long time, we didn't have a school counselor. And then we had a part-time counselor. And then we had a great full-time counselor for several years. And now we have a new one who is starting their second year. So it takes that person a while to get ramped up to figure out what the needs are. But anyway, it's been rolling along since we kind of got it started again. Like I said, we averaged spending about $5,000 other than during construction where it dipped. And so each year I will continue to go to school. I'm scheduled for, I think it's October 6th. I usually go to one of their professional development days. Introduce myself to everybody, remind the old staff, but very specifically to the new staff, to let them know that these funds are available. And just how it works. Each year they send me a copy of exactly what was ordered, so that we have that on file. It's a 44-page, what do you call that, attachment that Deb Brunel sends. I can't remember if I forwarded it to you or not.
Here, read it.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm giving away my age here, Ed, but you know. But you might, you find any correspondence I have with the school, I label it EDP, so if I share it, you can do, you know, a search.
Okay.
But it's nitty gritty stuff about book titles. This year, the school was very excited. In years past, the 8th grade has done a 8th grade trip with 2 other schools. But under our new principal, Jason Lees, he wanted to have more control over that and tie in their curriculum to that trip. So all year long, they're planning on what's going to happen, and hopefully the 2 events reinforce in the kids' minds about American history and government and things like that. So a lot of the funds were this year were spent on that, and then for special ed, because we have we've had one longtime special educator, and then a new one. And so a lot of new needs were identified, and it was just great to be able to provide that to the schools. Yeah, so that's where I'm coming from. Any questions, concerns? My goal ultimately is to educate each new school board, each new town select board. So Ed, I'm counting on you. Could I forget who came and who went and that kind of thing? I don't know it. I don't know how it works. I'm sure you have enough to do without me giving you another job. But anytime you feel like the history's been lost, because I don't know what happened between 2000 and 2013, but I think it's as simple as attrition and nobody knew. Principals come and go. The longtime administrator at the school, secretary, she retired. So everybody was new. Matthew was new. I was new. So anyway, I hope they told you as part of the job, it's a lifetime commitment. Okay. Yeah, that's really all I have. I just want to keep the lines of communication open, because even though the money is under the town, because in 1999, that was kind of the only way they could make this donation, it's very much only for the school to meet the criteria that the prices gave. And then I would like to continue yearly to get an update, like financially from the treasurer, what's the value? And then I can provide what we spent it on, and that we keep updating the prices. Mrs. Price, I mean, I just have to guess, but I think he was in his late 80s, so I assume she is too. And that was a few years ago that you passed away. So I want to keep that lines of communication open.
Well, thank you. Stanley, you've done a lot. You get keeping up with all that. That's
I like
That's great.
books. I believe in literacy, and kids, it has to be exciting. I don't know if you have kids, had kids that went through the school, but children's books, like when, well, if you're from Vermont, I mean, I think you are. You know, the state will say, okay, you need to provide pre-K. Yeah, but nobody budgets for this. And do you know how edible those little books are for 4 and 5-year-olds? We go through this, you know, the older kids, they last a little longer, but just meeting that need, once we started having a pre-K and kindergarten, it's great to be able to have the way to do that pretty easily. I mean, you know, searching for grants, as you guys probably know, like tracking down the Cliff grant and doing all that every 5 years is pretty time consuming. This is readily available, unless the whole stock market implodes. I'm feeling really good.
That's awesome. I've heard bits and pieces, but I never heard all that. That was great.
Right, you know, I think it's in a file
Mhm.
somewhere, but he was a lawyer, so he's very articulate in his letters, and I didn't mean to bore you with it, other than I'm
Mhm.
fascinated that he would take the time to, to let us know that. And once he
Yeah.
even corresponded with me personally. He wanted me to have a book. He said, I think you'll like this. Because they do, again, I'm making all kinds of stereotypes, but you know, I'm assuming they were kind of wealthy. They made charitable donations, and he said, here's a book that we donate to, what is it called? Like, NPR. They were, I don't know if you ever listened at 8:30 on NPR to Bird Notes. It's about birds. They're one of the sponsors of that.
Probably more of a school's responsibility, but has there ever been a thank you,
Oh, yes,
some kind of
yes.
something?
Different years, it's different classes. One year, help me out here. Irene DeJess.
Yep.
Enrichment coordinator, said, I need, and again, I'm not very technical. She needed something to do with programming, but on the children's level. So anyway, the kids call it the Legos. So when I went to school and I don't know, in a staff meeting or something, she was so excited because they were using that. So all the fourth graders wrote the prices, again, as you can imagine, fourth graders would, with pretty pictures. Thank you for the Lego. It had something to do with
Yeah.
computer programming, and they do the little robots and they have little competitions and things like that. So we evaluated that when Irene reached out to me, and yes, that would be under the cover of and creative activities, you know, that net promoting reading and creativity among the students. So yeah, it's labeled, it's inventory, it's part of the library, but yeah, so it helps all the kids.
Yeah.
Kind of like special education. By funding them, you impact from kindergarten to 8th grade.
Thank you. That'd be
Yeah.
great. I don't have any questions. You answered them all.
Oh,
Kathleen, I have a request. First of all, thank you very much. That was extremely well done. Well, all of your work has been on all of this for many years, so we appreciate that. Could you help us going forward to continue to educate as well as you did tonight, or at some level less probably, because you'll have more, you know, the same people in the room, but like an annual, like on an annual note?
anytime, Ed, you send me an email.
So maybe coordinating, David, do you have a time annually that you do your piece of that?
I
No,
mean, it's every month.
No, in the sense of at the end of the fiscal year,
Yeah.
when I have the
Yeah.
full list.
Yeah.
Then I try to look at that. I meet with the principal and say, so tell me the highlights
Yeah.
of how you spent the money this year, and that's the information.
so maybe that could be the trigger
Yeah.
whenever that comes up, that we could sit as a group, because you never know who's gonna be in here and who's listening, and you know, to get that repeated message out
Yeah,
is only gonna be beneficial.
You can only get one invoice a year,
Yeah,
which you just did.
yeah, I
Right.
know, we just did
There's a
it.
little more in here tonight on that, so.
Okay. So maybe going forward, we do that. We do this
This time of
annually
year,
as a group.
yeah, I think it'd be good.
This-
when that invoice appears in front of you,
Yeah.
it's probably a good time.
Right, that if you
That's the memory,
trigger, normal trigger.
and we can,
Jason has gotten pretty good about reaching out to me
okay,
and saying, hey, can I put you on a PD day? And I'm like, sure,
Yeah.
let's fit me in. So it's usually in the fall, again, recapping the previous fiscal year.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
You just see it every year.
Mhm. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen.
All right, thank you, Kathy. All right, and next we have town communication, the GoGov proposal about the emergency alerts communication. It's in your packet.
This would be right, Karen?
Deb started it. But yeah, I did talk to the lady.
Yes.
I did. just has some type of means to be able to have a better communication with our residents in regards to items that needs to be discussed with them.
So we talked about this last meeting or a couple of meetings ago, and then we put it back on. What's it back on for? What do we do?
You wanna do it, where you wanna take it from the budget? We didn't budget for it.
Right. So you did some homework on this. Have you talked?
Yeah, I talked to the lady and she told me, you know, how it works and. Different towns, and she even gave a town in Vermont that. That she must have permission to give out their name or information or whatever.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to them. But it's and it can be. Townwide, it can be just the village. It can be, you can add like businesses, you can add Martha's Diner and Durushi's, and you can, specific to like in the town with the water, the fire district, you know, send them alerts, they're gonna do the, flush the hydrants or whatever. When the truck blew up under the bridge, it could go to this vicinity to evacuate.
And that's for folks who sign
Who
up.
sign up for it, yes.
I mean, that would be one thing that we would want to actually push for all of our residents to sign up for. In order for it to really us get our biggest bang for our buck.
What we talked about, when we talked about it before, I thought it was something that would really be beneficial.
Yeah, and we talked to the emergency management director, right? He's not with us tonight. Did he give you any feedback, Matt,
Yeah,
or you guys, so he's,
And the planning commission has talked about it too. I went to a meeting a couple of months ago that was actually on their agenda, was town communication.
and the feedback was good?
Mhm.
Good for the,
Yeah, I mean, it was something it's nothing I brought up or nothing. It was before this GoGov. Or about the same time as the GoGov.
well, I guess the only thing, I think we're unanimous in support,
Mhm.
right, of it. I guess the next question is, do you feel that it's important enough to do now? You know, within a budget cycle that's not been identified for that, or do you wish to plan it for a go date of July and put it into the budget that we're creating now? It's 4,400. David's still here. 4,400 gonna break us, Dave? Can you find it? No.
This time of year, no problem.
And I think before winter would be important too.
The only thing that I would add to it is, I mean, I don't know if we really need to enact this right now. I think right now would be a good time for us from now to town meeting, really do a lot of speaking about it to get our residents understanding what it is, include it in the budget, and then have it become active for July 1st.
I think that's what I was playing in my head. If you started it right now, so many people won't even know about it.
Yeah. We could get something in the town report.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which would be a good way to do that. We could put something on the webpage.
Yep.
Website.
Sounds good.
Sounds like that's what we're gonna do. Deb, thank you for starting all of this mess.
Mhm.
Welcome, anytime.
I think it's a good plan.
Yeah.
So. David, I don't know if that's a special line item by itself or if you want to tuck it in somewhere, but
Oh, that's it.
yeah,
Hours to leave.
okay. All right,
Yep.
yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Sorry, when is that gonna start? And I didn't hear.
We didn't vote on that yet. We're gonna plan to put it into the budget for this year. And then look at possibly starting on July 1. New fiscal.
Of next year.
Yep.
So can you guys vote on that, or does the town have to?
We'll put it in the budget.
And then if the budget passes, it's in it.
In the general budget, not as a separate line item.
Right. Okay,
Thanks, Deb.
Next up, we have a public meeting for the ice jam study. I was in this meeting with Kathleen from NVDA. And Andy from Dubois King. And they were discussing the ice jams, and they'd like to have a public meeting to discuss the options for the town. And they'll also be working on a cost analysis update for that, so.
So do we pick a date?
They discussed that. He wanted to see if you could do it in like early October. He said for time wise, we should put it in the works now. But I think it's kind of like between everyone, but I think that you would have to give them the dates that were best for you.
Yeah, and then they'd say what, because that's the thing is, what might work here might not work there. And vice versa. So if we gave a few different dates. So like as a special meeting,
and they're looking for how fast, did you say?
They were looking at early October.
October?
so a month.
So you're talking about a downstairs
In the gym,
gym
yeah,
open
at night.
with hope
in the
that
evenings.
you have the capacity to seat people.
Mhm.
Sounds like a no-brainer.
Yeah, let that, they'll come and tell people about what's going on.
So it wouldn't have to change or impact the select board meeting schedule. It would be in addition to.
Right.
Okay.
And it's just about ice jams, just in general, or just specific?
Specifically, in Coventry.
So it's tied to this project.
Yes, it's tied to the ice jam study grant that we're doing.
Okay, I thought there was a grant that was involved with
There
it.
is,
Yeah.
And so they've done a lot of the preliminary work. And they have findings for that.
Right.
So part of that, I'm assuming, would be community.
They're gonna come with a presentation, they're gonna have a few options.
Right.
For people to think about.
Yeah.
And they're gonna want feedback on those options.
Yeah.
Whichever one seems like the best is what they'll do.
And the grant was just for the study, right?
Well, there's levels to the grant. There is money for the initial study, but there's more money down the line if we decide to do some stuff.
And did they advertise the meeting? Like, so when we agree on a date, we're gonna send out like flyers or something?
Postcards.
Postcards, yeah.
Do for stuff like that.
Yep.
So we just gotta make a date.
So
Kathleen was just looking, so day, well, first if you wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And they said,
They want to get your permission.
So I think that's where you're at, which is, I think, really tonight, all we gotta do is provide the permission and the invite and the permission.
Yeah.
And then it's up to them what date they wanna do it. Or can do it, cause it's gonna be their
okay,
scheduling conflicts, not ours. I would just suggest that we let them know not to do it on a select board meeting day.
okay.
And is there anything going on in the gym that like the wrestling starting back up or anything like that would?
The only thing we got right now at night is square dancing, that's on Mondays.
So are we safe to do that, Matt, tonight? Just motion that
Yes.
we want to invite and accept that
Yep.
for them to be able to come and utilize the facility to a date specific to be determined by them.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, does that make sense?
Mhm.
I think it does.
Yeah.
They're sort of the driver, not us. Okay,
I didn't remember it, but I'll motion to invite and accept the ice jam study And to use the gym
Second,
and should I put a date in there for them to make a date?
And the organization is,
NVDA.
NVDA, and Dubois King is the engineer.
right,
Oh, that's right.
yep. Okay, thank you, Dan.
Second.
You seconded that, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Should we have any snacks or anything there for that night?
why don't you, Ed's gonna talk to him, why don't you figure out all the particulars
Yeah,
on
figure
what
out
they
all the
do and
details,
what they
yeah.
bring, and then we can
Yeah.
figure it out.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, the next one we have is the check signing authority.
And that's actually the one I was proposing as a.
Right.
So I just.
It's on the-
Quite a few.
I hope so.
So that'll have to be downstairs.
Mhm.
So we've asked CMD to produce the paperwork that would remove Matt Maxwell from the CMD account as a signer and add me as a signer. And they have immediately requested minutes from this, from a select board meeting to back that.
You really are leaving, huh?
Unfortunately, I am, yes.
So, and Melanie, the town accountant, and I have worked out a system where she is going to have oversight of me, specific to account reconciliation, and reconciling accounts with the general ledger. To meet the requirement that essentially that be the case, that two people have two separate parties that have eyes on that process. If one of them is in fact signatory on the account. Yeah. Well, could be if you approve it.
No brainer.
Yep.
Positionally speaking, is that answer? Now, do I need to be removed?
No, I requested that they leave you on.
Keep-
Actually, the words were just leave everybody else that's on there
Just make this adjustment for now and
and
then,
just singular adjustment.
okay,
Because there definitely needs to be a backup.
right.
You can sign checks.
So the motion would be for check signing authority at Community Bank, Community National Bank, from Mr. Maxwell to Ed and to add the treasurer.
So add two or add one?
Yeah, I didn't realize we wanted to put Ed on there too.
Oh, okay,
Certainly,
well,
but you don't have to.
okay, that's why I was asking about the third one. I got confused
We
there.
wanted to get back to just the treasurer signing.
Just the treasurer with the backup.
Of the board.
Okay,
Yeah, so
All right.
leave it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You got off the hook on that.
Remove
Okay, yeah, sorry, I was in between the spots, so it's just to remove
Matt, add Nathan.
Union National Bank.
I'll make a motion to remove Matt from check signing authority at Community National Bank and add David Barlow, the treasurer, to that account.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Aye.
Good. Thank you, Dave.
Next, we have the VLCT Town Fair. And we need a voting representative from Coventry.
Matt?
I'm not going.
So,
Normally it's me.
yeah, I think positionally, once
Yeah.
again, right, we've kind of steered for the town administrator. I think there's been exceptions to that.
I think David did it last year, but I've done it. I've done it several times.
Now it's been a few years.
Oh, okay,
But
well,
it's primarily for the insurance piece, the
yeah,
packet, PACI.
yeah, it's the insurance. Yeah.
So normally what we would do is talk about it here and we would, as a board, give our authority, give and direction to the town administrator to vote on our behalf. Do you wanna go this year?
I can.
You wanna go?
I can.
I think that's the best case scenario. If you haven't been before,
I've
so
never
you could
been.
go experience that. Ed hasn't been before.
He's going.
You can go,
Yeah.
you're going already, and there's options. Overnight lodging sometime, or always is offered, so you guys should maybe get together and look at what. Or individually, I don't, whatever you guys wanna do. Did they have the cutoff date on signing up for that?
Yes,
It's not passed.
Nope. I
Okay,
don't think so,
probably coming up.
yeah.
I think the early bird's done, but the
The early
sign up
bird,
is
yeah, the
not.
early bird might be done, so. They'll take our money, don't worry.
So how do you wanna do the voting itself? Do you wanna do it on behalf of the board, or do you wanna just be there and have the board delegate to the town administrator to do the voting there that day? Should we ask that? Cause that's kinda what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's up to you. You're gonna be there, so you could do it
I
on
can,
behalf
yeah.
of the board.
I can do it this
They
year.
can all attend the meeting, but they,
One
Yeah.
can vote, right? Yeah, right.
Yeah, so that's fine. I'll vote.
Do we need to motion that? Oh,
good.
yeah. That makes sense to you, Ed?
Yes.
Takes the pressure off,
Then
right?
you get it back next year. Maybe.
Okay. So, yeah, let's keep that clean and vote that up.
Usually in the past, you've always made a motion to designate who you've given that authority to.
Yeah,
Okay, a motion to give Carrie Keeman. Make Carrie Keeman the voting representative for the town of Coventry at the VLCT Town Fair.
I second that. All in favor?
I,
Aye. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you,
thanks,
Ed.
Carrie.
Matt's probably got a lot of stuff.
I'll come in sometime tomorrow or something.
Yeah.
You get here by 7:30-ish tomorrow?
Yeah, somewhere, it depends how long it takes me to fire in the morning.
I drop the kids off at school.
7:30 noon.
Yep. I'll drop the kids off at school, my normal, and then I'll come hang out for a little while, see if you show up. Unless Ed knows it.
Well, Deb will be here. So you'll
Oh,
be at
Tuesday?
Lucas. Tomorrow's senior meals.
Yeah.
So I'm sure the building will be open at 6 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
You want to hang out.
Not that early.
Yeah.
Okay, next we have cemetery fund, and it's gonna be updated by Dave Viral.
Yeah, so the next three items in fact are just motions to make some changes to have Westview make some changes. And you probably have a printout in front of you with that recommended motions. The first one has to do with having Westview set up a separate fidelity brokerage account for the cemetery fund. And to transfer the single mutual fund that is the cemetery fund out of the town's investment brokerage account and into this new brokerage account.
Can I speak to that?
Go.
In our last meeting, we spoke about this cemetery investment funds, and it was voted on, decided as a motion at our meeting. To ask the select board to do exactly as David just said, to move our account to. As we all know, obviously the funds are together, move our account. Keep it within the same firm. Into its own account number and its own branch, brokerage account. And the treasurer would be our authorized person on that account, as. It's written in our bylaws already. The treasurer will be our authorized person and our trustee will be. The guidance. To the treasurer,
Currently, pretty.
currently for Nate.
Yep. I think that's exactly what we've all been talking about for a long time.
We just had to meet about it and
Yeah.
make that motion so that way it
Yeah.
asked you guys to. Have the authority to do that.
Yeah.
Or you already had the authority to do that, but to have you move on that.
Perfect. I think this is great. This is exactly what we've all been asking for. More people involved, more discussion, more understanding of it all. So. I can't do nearly as good a job as Kathleen did. But the history to that is, help me with that one, Dave, that cemetery fund has been part of the long-term investment account for a long time.
It was a donation to the town in 2000 and maybe 2001 time frame.
Okay,
Somewhere in there.
yeah,
From a person's estate. Specifically for the cemetery.
yeah,
But without further constraints. And it has gone through a number of different investment vehicles over the years, from checking account to CDs to actually being invested.
yeah,
It at one point had its own brokerage account, but when we needed a brokerage account to do the cash management account, it got moved into the town investment fund.
okay, so we're doing a good thing and just going back to that,
Unwinding that.
unwinding that and create its own account.
And there's an additional word in the suggested motion that says without discretion,
Right.
which means that we're telling Westview they cannot do anything with that investment. They can't sell it.
Right.
They have to ask permission. They can't touch it otherwise.
Right, that's you guys get that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Everything we've talked about. So. Perfect. Thank you. I guess we just, David's generous in giving us our word, so.
Okay.
It's
Well, it's
all,
always good to have exactly.
right,
Yeah,
For this time.
So we forget one word and it totally changes it.
yeah,
Because this is gonna have to go to Westview after.
all right, so get all the
We're good with-
words.
with that one?
Yeah.
I'll move to have Westview Investment Advisors set up a new Fidelity brokerage account without discretion for the sole purpose of holding the cemetery fund and to transfer the single mutual fund that comprises the cemetery fund, BGWAX, into this brokerage account.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Right.
This for investment discretion. All right, next we have investment discretion.
So, you have that motion as number 2 on your sheet. This is to actually remove discretion from the EDP fund at Westview. And also the cash management account in Westview. So it's telling Westview that you cannot do anything within these 2 funds without asking permission. So you can't sell, the EDP fund is in a single mutual fund, they can't sell that or trade it or do anything with that. They've got to ask permission. Same thing with cash management. And a little bit of background, they've already asked this question. Did we want them to do anything with it? And I told them no,
Right.
but just formalize that. Give them written direction, that's the case.
Move. So the EDP fund account now is what, David?
It's a single mutual fund,
Is it important for us to get that into this?
it is not.
Okay. But it's still it's a singular mutual fund. And it's not commingled in any way.
It is.
All right. And cash management is straightforward. Get that?
Yeah.
Kathleen?
I'm good with that. That's the way it should be. That's what the price is asked for. This just reconfirms it so that 20 years from now, somebody trying to make sure they're doing the right thing can read it in the minute.
Right. Yeah, I would agree.
I'll make a motion to remove Westview Investment Advisors discretion from the EDP fund brokerage account and the cash management brokerage account.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you very much.
And next we have the cash management account.
Okay, so this one, we talked a little bit about before, but the idea is that we use this account for our cash that we don't immediately need in order for it to earn a much higher rate of return than it does at the local bank. And that involves occasionally having to move that money back to the local bank if we have a bunch of checks to write that we might need to cover. And then, if we have too much cash at the local bank that we don't need right away, to move that back to the cash management account so we can earn a higher rate of return. The thing that needs to happen there is usually that needs to happen pretty quickly. A couple days, 3 at most, of turnaround time. So, what this motion does is sets up a procedure like we have for payroll, which also requires a quick turnaround. Where a single board member has the authority to review a request that comes from me in writing, normally an email, that documents it, that says, hey, okay, we need to move or recommend we move that amount of money one way or the other. And then I can get a quick approval or not, in order to make that happen. As it is now, we would technically need to wait for the board to publish the minutes to a meeting to make that move. That's, a 3-week turnaround time, that is cumbersome. And not really gonna meet the requirement.
Do the same thing you did on the other one for us, Dave, walk it back a few years, so.
Years gone by.
Yeah.
Back when interest rates were almost non-existent, there was no point to it. There was no way to earn a higher rate of return by moving to a money market mutual fund than a brokerage house. Interest rates were stuck near zero for many years, but once they took off, so I think somewhere in 2000, then it became advantageous to use our brokerage account to help manage our cash. So all of a sudden we could earn at that time 5.5% versus the
Right.
0.25% at the bank. It's a ton of money difference. You're talking $50,000 or $60,000 a year return versus $2,000 a year. You don't do it. So interest rates have started to come down, but it's still advantageous. Definitely tens of thousands of dollars more by keeping our cash available. It's available, it's liquid, we can get it if we need it, but it's earning its maximum rate of return that we could do. The statutes cover it.
Right.
In terms of ability to do it this way.
Well, may change in the future, so, whether the group is then, can talk that all.
That may go away.
Yeah, it's been now it's been a number of years though, right? It's been, how long have we had that account? 5,
4.5.
yeah, almost 5 years now, so. But while we have it and with the adjustments that we just made, I think that, this is another no-brainer. And you would just do the same thing you're doing with payroll, basically, and so then it would come to the next board meeting
As a warrant.
as a warrant
And you
that we've
see-
talked about.
You'll see an example tonight because I put a warrant in the packet for the Edmund Douglas Price check that you wrote last week.
Okay,
So the EDP fund actually owes the town for that check. And that is a transfer at the investment
right,
level, and there's a warrant in there for that.
okay,
Should be right on
and
top.
so it would be the same,
It would,
guys get that?
Mhm,
Makes sense?
Yeah,
mhm.
and
Who wants to do it?
should it,
and there's a question of you do it by name or do it by position as well.
Mhm.
Didn't know how you wanted to do that, so.
we've
Really?
a positional thing,
So
Maybe the chair each time.
It's
or-
generally, it probably should be the chair, like the payroll. And it's sort of one of those extra things the chair gets to get beat on for. Going back, I was thinking about that a little bit. Dave and I talked about it a little bit. The chair, I don't know, some number of years ago, and I think all towns do it. Like, they pay them more. And that's one of the reasons why, because of some of that extra responsibility stuff. Doesn't mean it would have to be that, other boards could change that, but I think that's probably a prudent way to do that.
Yeah.
And, whoever that chair is in the future, as David's mentioned, you kind of gotta watch it. Because, it can be a day or two on the weekend. It's usually weekends with payroll.
Well, yes.
Is all, so it's, whoever's gonna do that, it's gotta be really kind of ready to be on it. For him
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
if we did that this way here, David, can we just put in a position on this?
Select board chair.
And you just, that you don't have to do that every single time you get a new chair?
No. But that's the advantage of positional.
Right.
And, yeah. It stands until the board changes.
Yeah.
Everybody good with that motion with the select board chair?
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. Move to authorize select board chair member to approve or disapprove cash management brokerage account movement of funds as they may be recommended in writing or email by the town treasurer, with a warrant to follow at the next select board meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Thanks, David.
thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
I just want to say thank you to everybody, but especially to David on all that. It may seem easy what we just did. But it's not. There's a lot of things that we have to think through, right? There's a lot of things we have thought through, and there's been some disagreements and some debates, but I think doing it here and doing it the way that we're doing it resolves those issues, and it's gonna make it a lot more clean for future boards where, a lot of this stuff that we're doing, we haven't been memorializing that and drawing those lines of authority. And I think it's good to do that because people can understand what's going on. So thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
Okay, next we have liquor license renewals and a catering permit, and there's a packet there for you on the table.
So 3 of them are routine for Royer Service. He has a second class license, a tobacco license, and then that second tobacco license for the vaping. So those are all normal. You folks approved all of those last year. The additional one is actually, there's going to be a wedding that's going to be held this coming Saturday. So that's by the caterer who's doing the catering permit to offer alcohol for the party.
Do you have that one right there, Dan?
I think it's that one. That one's the
So where does it
catering.
say the name?
Oh, no, that's not it.
Okay, here it is.
It's made out to a
Here,
business.
Oh, yeah, that's the catering.
Who's the caterer?
Oh,
Car-
God.
Kindred LLC from Orleans.
Yeah, it's for Lindsay Perrin's wedding.
Just walk us back through the rules on it, Deb. Is there any sort of registration or licensing or something like that a caterer needs to do in order to be eligible for this?
There are certain regulations, but honestly, the state goes through and takes care of that for all of them, even for the liquor licenses. If they don't have what they need to have in place, then they won't even go through and process the application to send it over onto our end.
So it's got everything that they had to send in.
Yeah, there are different qualifications that they need to complete on their end.
And it's
Okay,
even,
so they do the same, they go through the same scrutiny then as the store.
That is correct.
Mhm.
Yes, that is correct.
Like the catering that they did for Town Foundation, we did the one day, and it's
Yeah.
specific to dates and times.
These are all
fine
for Royers Mini Mart, is that what that?
Yeah.
Okay.
3 are for Royers and then 1 is for the caterer.
Can I see at least one, just any old form, is there? I don't know, these labels, you know. The DLL application numbers, those are all different probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So if we just motion the application ID number and the application for in the business, right?
I don't remember doing all that before. Not that we didn't have to.
Yeah, we did
Couldn't do,
for
but-
Royers, yeah. Oh, you mean to go into that detail?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or
I
even,
don't think you haven't done that in the past, but I mean, you absolutely can. It just makes it a little bit more transparent for you guys or anybody who's reading the minutes. Although I think last time Matt had it pretty well in the minutes anyhow, the 3 different licenses that were being approved.
I think that's what he did last time. He put it right in the. Yeah. I think it'd be a good idea. Let me see 2 or 3 of them at the same time.
Have them all.
So that. Yes, so these are different.
This one. Tobacco substitute endorsement.
I think it's a good idea to do that because they're for different things.
Mhm.
And definitely keep that one separate.
I think last year they came separate because they got the tobacco license and then they got the vaping.
Yeah.
Down the road.
okay, so we're gonna need this application number. And the name, the business name.
Yes, I think so, yeah.
Okay, motion to approve a is this one just a liquor license?
Blue.
Yeah, no, this is the catering permit.
Request, approve the request for a cater permit with a DLL application number 63983 for the business of Tarbox Kindred LLC.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You're gonna be good at this in a minute.
Motion to approve the application for tobacco substitute endorsement with the application, with the DLL application 64502 for the business Route 5 Coventry Corporation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the application of second class license DLL application number 64500 for the business of Route 5 Coventry Corporation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to approve the application for tobacco license DLL application number 64501 for the business of Route 5 Coventry Corporation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Deb.
Thank you. And he did come in actually, today and paid his fees for the liquor license. Of course, the 2 tobacco, we do not receive any payment for those. So he is all set and good to go.
Okay.
Thank you, Deb. All right, and other business?
I got 2 quick things.
They better be quick.
They're very quick. So next week, both David and I have our annual VMCTA conference. So we will be out next week, just so that you folks are aware. And then the end of September, heading into October, I actually will be going to Washington DC for a PEI Advocacy Day. That was actually through a grant that I received. There's clerks from all over the whole United States who will be traveling down there to be able to meet with legislation at the White House, to be able to discuss elections, issues with elections, stuff they're trying to promote, stuff we don't want to see, stuff that we do want to see. Just so you got a heads up, I will also be out that week as well.
What do you need from us on that? Anything or any type of support or anything?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Cool. Thank you.
That's awesome,
Yeah,
thank you.
Thanks, Deb.
Approval of minutes, 8/18/2025 and 1/2025. There you go.
How did we do, Gary?
We did good.
You did good.
Matt did good.
Everybody good with them?
Mhm.
Approve the minutes for the select board meeting minutes for town of Coventry, Monday, August 18th, 2025, as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approve the select board meeting minutes for the town of Coventry, Thursday, August 21st, 2025, as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next, warrants, you have the red folder there.
So this is the,
That top one's the one that Dave was talking about.
okay, yep,
4894 something.
Yep, it's the EDP.
yep. 500, they made it. 500.
I'm sorry, 500 what?
500,000, am I looking at the right one?
There's two.
Yeah, this is
There's
the,
one that transfers the, 500,000 to the.
Oh, that's the one. Yep, not the
Yeah,
EDP.
From the town meeting.
Kathleen, you don't want to take out 500,000, do you?
No, no, 5,000. That's why I was like, what? No, the EDP should be 4894.
That is the best signature.
$48.94.10.
And 10 cents.
Nothing crazy this time, Deb?
Nope. Next time you will start seeing a little bit more invoices for the finishing up of the Coventry Day Festival. For the sheriff, for the ADA traffic, for trying to think what else, Juddy's for the septic, and I think there was one other one. So you'll have a few that will be a little bit higher. I think ADA is like almost $5,000. But other than that, normal. And speaking of that, with being gone next week, your next select board meeting is the 22nd. Chances are you won't have AP for that night. I'll put together when I come back what we may have received for additional invoices and probably sent to Scott on the 25th for him to go ahead and review a special batch just so that they can get paid, and then you folks will sign the warrant at your October 6th meeting.
Okay,
Sounds good.
Dave, can I just ask a question on the mechanics of, so the EDP, the $4,800 one? So how do you want it, how do you want to do that? Is it gonna go? Which fund is it gonna land in?
That
Which
will-
account?
That will be cash transfer in some way. Probably directly from the EDP fund into the general fund checking.
At community? And don't even leave it in,
No, I
right,
prefer to clean this.
me too.
Not doing
That's why I'm asking the question, cause,
that, right.
yeah, okay,
The cash for cash management, I like to move that in big,
yes,
even chunks.
yeah.
Going out in a check and coming back in.
So even on something like that, maybe in the future, just, maybe we could just zip that in there. What account we wanna transfer it to. You don't have to, it's just that, otherwise I would ask that question, which account is that
Oh,
going?
in there, yes, okay.
Motion to approve the warrants as written.
Second,
All in favor?
aye,
Motion adjourned.
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
You're faster than I am now.
Meeting.
Yeah, that's